Rugby World Cup 2023, folks, is just around the corner. We are just over 100 days out from the kick-off of the tournament. Who are the favourites as we get ever so close? We'll go through the odds of each of the teams, and you guys can let us know your thoughts. Who's kind of fair and who's maybe being a little bit undervalued. Remember, these odds come from bookmakers, so they are kind of implied odds from betting, so take them with whatever level of seriousness you like. But yeah, from my experience, the bookies are, I mean, they can get them wrong for sure, but they've got a method to their madness. Let's just put it that way. Now, we will look also at how these odds have shifted over the last kind of year or so as well, because we had a look at the odds 1 year out from the World Cup, and they have changed a little bit since then. Now, we'll start with kind of the also rans, sadly. Like, are any of the bottom seeds given anything much of a chance? Namibia, Romania, Portugal, Chile, are these guys given anything of a chance? No, these guys are all at like 5,001 odds. So, yeah, they're far less than 1%, so kind of negligible in terms of any kind of meaningful contribution to the odds. So, basically, thanks for playing. Hope you enjoyed the experience, but no one is really thinking about you in the kind of contender conversation. Likewise, Uruguay, Tonga, Georgia, and Samoa still all kind of less than 1% countries. That's despite, Uruguay being a bit of a darling in terms of getting a victory over Fiji at the last one, and Tonga maybe having a few kind of former All Blacks on the roster. Likewise, Samoa and the Georgians kind of ever improving. Still, realistically, according to the bookies, in terms of being kind of any genuine threat to the World Cup, no. I mean, Georgia and Samoa have better odds than the other guys below them at 501. Tonga's at 1,001. So, yeah, slightly better, but still, in the terms of the overall scheme of things, kind of negligible. It even applies to Italy, Fiji, and Japan, who are a second seed. All of these countries are given less than a 1% chance of winning the World Cup, so I've kind of dismissed them, for whatever that's worth, as essentially being negligible. It would take a heck of a run for a Fiji or a Japan to go on to lift the trophy. I think you would have to admit, in all seriousness. I mean, we can certainly see a Fiji or a Japan, or maybe even an Italy, resurgent Italy, kind of knocking off a team in one game, but to do it week, I don't know, it seems like a bit of a bridge too far, and the odds would kind of imply that as well. Fiji and Japan are at $151, which is kind of like 0.5%, and then Italy are at 251, so even a bit less. So those are your also rans, your less than 1%ers. Now, what about the kind of bigger teams? I'm starting with Scotland. These are the lowest team to have more than 1%. I'm going to write you in green, Scotland, because your odds have actually improved. 2%. 2% chance of winning the World Cup if you're converting the bookies' odds into a kind of out of 100 percentage. Remember, the bookies' odds go to like 120% with their over-round, but if you're making it out of 100, the Scottish are at 2%, which is up from 1.6, so paying $41 to win the World Cup. As if you put $1 on Scotland to win the World Cup and they get it done, you will get your dollar back plus 40 friends. So Scotland, 2%, your odds are up. Wales, I can't say the same for you. You are a top seed in your pool, but your odds are only marginally better than those of Scotland. And interestingly, that's since Gatland has returned. Since Gatland has taken over from Wayne Pivac, the odds have shifted from 4.6% to 2.3%. So $36 Wales are paying to win the World Cup. A top seed coach with a proven World Cup record, would you say? The fact that he got them to a semi-final the last time, or is that not good enough? Wales, 2.3%. Argentina, interestingly, you haven't really shifted much at all. I'm going to put you in blue because, yeah, much the same. Your odds are pretty much the same as what they were the last time we looked when it was a year out from the World Cup. 3.1%. Last time was at 3%. So kind of paying $26 to win the World Cup. Argentina, potentially a dark horse. They are certainly on the right side of the draw, I guess you would say. You'll notice, apart from Scotland, the teams we've got thus far are on this side, and that theme will continue when we go with England, whose odds are down. But England are the closest team, I think, right now, like at least to getting a double-figure percentage, 8.1% for England. So that's down from 13% when they had Eddie Jones in charge. Since the Six Nations, England's odds have not improved. So paying $10 to win the World Cup, so it's still significantly more, a significantly stronger prediction than the Scottish, Welsh, or Argentinians. But yeah, that's essentially Pool D already done. So according to the bookies, Pool D is the overall weakest of the pools. Would you agree? Pool C is rounded out with Australia. Now Australia are actually one of the teams with the Eddie Jones factor. I'm going to put in green because they are up. They are up to 9% with Eddie in charge. So up from 7.1 when Dave Rennie was in charge. So the Wallabies are paying $9 essentially to win the World Cup. So a little bit of an improvement, but again, that is that entire side of the draw done now, and we still have the top 4 teams to go. So that kind of highlights the way the draw is lopsided. Remember, World Rugby have said they're going to do something about this for the next World Cup when they're going to make the draw a bit later. But for this World Cup, that is how things are lying. I don't mean to dismiss these other teams as well, because they are certainly going to make the pools more interesting in terms of the games for the genuine contenders as well. Like it's maybe a bit dismissive to just rule these teams out as not being consequential. And the games that the teams have in the pools will certainly lay the foundation for whatever happens later on in the tournament. But there you go. South Africa, you're also getting the green pen because your odds ever so slightly have gotten better. 13.6% for South Africa. So was it kind of a round 13 the last time we had a World Cup odds look? So yeah, $6. $6 the Springboks are paying. Now the Springboks have got a thing with only winning the World Cup every 12 years. So you could say don't put any money on the Springboks, or you could look at that and go, that's a decent wee return on investment if they get the job done. The biggest movers and shakers though, certainly Ireland. Ireland are at 18%. Now you may scoff and say, Ireland at a Rugby World Cup, how can their odds be going up? Well, it's just based on their performances. Ireland have won the Six Nations, got themselves a Grand Slam, they've gone to New Zealand and won away on tour. Their odds have just been ever improving. So $4.50 for them to win, 18% chance, up from 13 at the last time we had a look. So a definitely kind of significant jump, a lot more money on the Irish at this point. And that leaves only 2 because that rounds out Pool B. We are looking at Pool A. Second most likely is the All Blacks. To be honest, usually the All Blacks go into the World Cup as the favourite, but not this time. Got the red pen out because their odds have shifted a little bit down since the last time. 20.3 down from 20.8, so it's kind of a muchness, paying $4. And then the French, still your favourites, despite losing the Six Nations, but at home, and one of the most highly ranked teams in the world. So 21.7 for the French, so marginally more favoured than the likes of New Zealand, paying $3.75. So within $1 of the likes of New Zealand, Ireland, and a little bit away from South Africa. So there you go, folks. At around about 100 days, just over, from the Rugby World Cup, those are your favourites. France 1, New Zealand 2, Ireland 3, South Africa 4, all on that side of the draw. And then it's Australia under Eddie Jones from the other side of the draw, who's your favourite side, followed by England. Who's your dark horse? Argentina at a World Cup. I don't think you can write them off, but it's another one. Can you see them going game after game after game? Like when they came and beat New Zealand down here in New Zealand in the Rugby Championship, the next week they got an absolute hiding. So it's that kind of matter of consistency that might be a problem for them. Ireland, if they can get over their quarterfinals hump, you never know. You feel like mentally that would free them up. But yeah, certainly it's still France who are the favourites. the All Blacks are kind of always there or thereabouts despite the current coach. But anyway, South Africa, never write them off either. You guys let us know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.